Hey, this is Derek Henley with Heavy Metal Engines. We've just been rocking and rolling the first half of the year, been busy updating the building, knocking out customers' builds and machine work. We're grateful for everyone who's been a part of that. We're humbled by the reputation we've acquired the first year and a half of this business. We're grateful to every one of you guys. Just wanted to give you a couple little bit of updates and just fill you in and keep you part of it. You guys are family to us. So, first part of the summer, an individual just knocks on the door and says, hey, I'm looking for a job. His name is Latham. He came to us from FSU on summer break. One of the most hungry, ambitious, smart young men I've met ever. He came to us from FSU on a summer break from an engineering degree. We kind of gave him an accelerated program here to try to make it worth his while and ours. We knew his time here was short. I would just go over everything with him like 3 times, like, hey, watch everything I do. So I would just go through the process of like surfacing a block or boring a block. I'd go over it, say, ask any questions you want. Then I'd have him do it and say, ask me every step of the way. And then I would have him do it and just say, if you need me, I'm here. And I would just build in a couple fail safes to double check himself and go through the process, and it worked great. He helped me knock out a bunch of stuff for a bunch of people, and it came out great. And I'm gonna miss Latham. We had some good times together. He was my little mad scientist. The guy's gonna go far in life, I'll tell you that. So a part of why I set out to do this is just being like a gearhead. When I was first starting to mod my car, the experience that puts like air into your sails when you get treated right by a shop, even an engine shop especially. And I just want to carry on that passion and see you guys go far and enjoy the stuff I build for you. A couple of our customers, like for example, Don, he came to us with a 302 based Ford engine out of his like 92 Fox body, and he had some valve train issues that caused a couple other things to go awry. So we brought it in, fully broke it down, and ended up putting in a full scat stroker crank in there with some Weisigo pistons, and got that all squared away for him. And he's been rocking and rolling and came flying up and just like, Derek, this thing's awesome. And it just brings like joy to us because that's why we did this. This is a guy who has a GT350 Mustang and a twin turbo Mercedes, and here he is out trolling people in an old school Fox body that we bump in our engine. Just, Derek, this thing's awesome, we love it. So we're just grateful for people like Don. And also like customers who are more race related, like Wes. Wes came to us for a refresh on his LS single turbo build. And he had some head gasket issues, and we ended up finding out some things were improperly machined. We upgraded to some stronger pistons, 1/2-inch head studs, top fuel hoops. Also seeing that it was bending wrist pins. He was overpowering them. And this comes from an upgraded pin that a lot of the internet sees, a 9000 series 200 wall wrist pin. He was bending them like a jump rope. So we upgraded to H13 material, much thicker wall, and he's already run a new personal best. He wants to run street style at the upcoming Florida No Time deal. So we're going to sponsor his tech card. Just say, Wes, go knock him dead. We're proud of you. And that's that. Oh yeah, so not that we have any downtime really, but I don't like stagnant things, including this building. So although we don't own our own building yet, we're grateful for our landlord who has been gracious to work with us in improving things. So we got the building painted, ripped out some old bushes, put in some nice beautiful palm trees, some new signage, new gutters, just making this place look legit. Cleaned up some of the stuff that never got used, improving on stuff that we did use. Got a new forklift. Out with the old Smoky Joe, got a new electric forklift. Normally I hate electric anything, but being inside with the AC, you can't breathe. Like as much as I love combustible engines, you don't want to breathe that stuff in, day out. So we got a new nice Cat electric forklift, and that's been a blessing. Got our 3-axis CNC wired up. It's got Centroid-based software on it. We would like to start doing surfacing and O-ring and top fuel hoops all in one setup. Stroke clearancing for blocks, O-ringing to eliminate gasket issues on the exhaust header flange, stuff like that. Or just making custom one-off parts on repetition. Another thing I wanted to touch base on was, as a consumer, I don't care if you come to me or anyone, be a savvy consumer. Do your research. Call up the tech department of some of these manufacturers. Because when you call up, we'll say a big box store of engine shops, you're talking to a salesman a lot of times, and that's their job, to sell you on stuff. I had a customer who came in saying, Derek, I bought this short block because it was too good of a deal to pass up. It said this horsepower for this price, and I just want you to swap out cranks because I need a LS7 based crank for my dry sump system. I said, okay. So I pulled it apart and I started instantly noticing, he was told, oh, we got guys running 1,200 horsepower with this setup. And it had 5,000 series, 150 wall wrist pins. I'm like, dude, you call up any pin manufacturer in the USA and nobody's gonna suggest that wrist pin for that power level. When I took out the crank, I noticed half the caps on the block were machined and some of them were dull, meaning it wasn't even properly machined. It was a brand new virgin block, and they didn't shrink the caps, they didn't fully line hone every single part of the surface, wasn't touched, so it's not a perfect circle. And I said, well, what are your bearing clearances? I don't know, I wasn't given a spec sheet. So you don't know what your rings are capped at? No, I don't. Because what you set up an engine for 500 or 600 horsepower NA is not gonna be the same as a 1,200 horsepower boosted deal. If one size does not fit all, I'm like, well, okay. But also, like in the case of the main bearing clearance I told you about, or the main bore I should say, is say you set it up for 3,000 clearance on your crankshaft, main bore. In a perfect circle where your mandrel's touching all the way around, that's 3,000. Well, if on the other caps where it was partially machined or half of it wasn't, that means the circle's bigger, which is meaning you're not gonna have proper bearing crush and your bearing clearances are gonna be much bigger on that particular cap. Also, this is a brand new block, and when I'm like, I wanna rewash this block. And when I pulled out the oil galley plug, the back part of it was brand new and the front part was covered in oil and metal chips. That's gonna go straight into your brand new oil pump, straight into your brand new bearings, and straight into your brand new crankshaft surfaces. And this was fresh out of the bag, out of the crate, ready to go in the guy's car. So it's not in the guy's best interest. So it sounded like they're just out to make a sale, and if you see an unbelievable price with an unbelievable horsepower rating, do your research, because they're literally cutting every corner they can, including man labors to properly wash a block. Those internal oil galleys from GM, there's a possibility of there being metal shavings in there. And if you don't properly scrub those galleys, that stuff's gonna break off and go right into your engine. So they're cutting corners even in labor hours. So I don't know who's watching this, but if you're a big successful engine shop, remember why you set out to do this, to give the customer the best possible result, the best possible experience. Consumers, just like when you go to a car dealership, no more than a salesman on the other side. Do your homework. So something that kind of goes along with that is producing good fruit. Why you set out to do something? What's in the core? What's at the root? I was reading something in Luke 6:45, the Amplified version, and there was a word I'd never even seen before, intrinsically. And it says, the intrinsically good man produces what is good and honorable and moral out of the good treasure stored in his heart. And the intrinsically evil man produces that what is wicked and depraved out of the evil in his heart. And I'm like, what does the word intrinsically even mean? So I looked at the word intrinsically, and it just, quick Google version, in a way that belongs to the essential nature of something. When you say like, well, that's his nature, that's what's coming up from the inside. And the Bible describes, you can kind of like judge a person, not to judge a person, but you can kind of see what is in a person by the fruit that it bears. A bad tree doesn't produce good fruit, and a good tree won't produce bad fruit. So that's kind of what I set out to do when I started this business. I just wanted the person to walk away with the best possible results, best possible experience. And one way to start that is every morning I kind of try to read a little bit of word just to fill myself with something good so I can produce good fruit, because I ain't gonna produce it by myself. Who am I? But I just try to read the Word of God and fill myself with something good so there's less room for something bad to alter my fruit, So anyone who may not read the Word or know the Lord, I'll dare to say He knows you. He loves you and He'll be patient with you just like He was with me. I'm living proof of that. It's kind of a 101 on how to bear good fruit. Fill yourself with His truth. If somebody came up to me and was like, Derek, I'm just struggling with this area of my life, whether it be an addiction or bad practices, or maybe it was even the way you were raised, you can't help it. I don't know. That's why I just try to fill myself with His truth, because there's a lot of biblical principles of how and why And just let the Lord, don't try to change yourself. Don't try to do performance-based. It's not. It's His grace. It's His truth. Just let Him change you. That's why I just try to seek Him for myself. I don't know everything there is to know. I just try to seek His truth, and He changes me. And that's what I would just encourage anyone else to do. He can change your life. He can change your body. He can change your mindset. You can seek Him simply by calling on His name. You can seek Him by reading His Word. You can seek Him by going to church, turning on a church service on TV, throw something on YouTube, open up a Bible. I just encourage you to seek Him for yourself. It's a walk. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a holier than thou person. I'm just a man just like anyone else who's just applied these truths and principles at a young age in my life, and I give God the glory. I've got some fruit to show He is faithful. It works. You fill yourself with Him, you will produce good fruit. Simple as that. So this summer has been great. The work's been coming in nonstop, from precision crank balancing for high-end race engine shops. Those cranks are critical, and how things need to be checked when you're running 3,000 plus horsepower, checking for cracks, straightness, doing great polishing work, balancing work, whether we're decreasing or increasing the bob weights. Those things have to be measured. Otherwise, your crank's going to be whipping around. You're going to feel vibrations. They're going to kill bearings, blah, blah, blah. To engine block machining, to cylinder head building, everything in between. We're just grateful, from LS to big block to Ford to import stuff, to from machine work and you guys build it, to one-off operations to full-on builds. We're grateful for every single one of you guys, and we just thank you for the opportunity for us to exceed your expectations, because that's what I set out to do. Speaking of full engine builds, this is our clean room, where nothing comes in here unless it's clean, ready to go, after it's already been machined and spec'd out with the correct parts. Here we have a small block Chevy going together. This guy was a factory block, 4195 bore. He was popping head gaskets. So we switched to a dart block, roller camshaft bearings, bronze lifter bushings, back to a 165 bore, Molnar crank, Crowler rods, custom JE pistons. This thing's gonna rock and roll and live. Over here, we got a 455 Oldsmobile-based engine. This came in with bearing failure, smoked the crankshaft beyond repair. It was already 30, ground 20 on the bearings, on the journals I meant. So now it's gonna be a 468, Eagle crank and rods, Icon pistons. Right here, we're upgraded to a custom bronze cam thrust setup, as the original flat tappet deal had a crown on the camshaft lobes, and it kind of kept the cam thrust in check. Well, when you go to a retrofit hydraulic roller, there's nothing really to stop the fore and aft movement in the camshaft. So this setup locates off the factory oil galley plugs, and also is a crush washer to those plugs, and stops the cam movement under 10 thousandths play. And then we're upgrading to a Clio's double roller timing chain. And here we're just going through the motions of setting top dead center. Next we'll degree the camshaft. And over here, this is the 427 I told you about. The guy bought 427 LS. We just switched to an LS7 crankshaft, rebalanced it, cleaned everything, and we're gonna go put it back together. And this is gonna go into like a street car that also sees road race duty, and a C6 Z06. So I just wanted to end it by saying thank you to all our customers. Thank you for the opportunity for us to help exceed your expectations. And thank you all you viewers for just watching this, and we'll see you again soon.